Hey guys, Nandra here. So today's video is gonna be a special tribute to my good friends Kiri, Sakia, and Luna. Um, I don't really talk about this much, but I was pretty nervous doing like YouTube videos and whatnot. However, they've been uh, they've been helping me and reviewing my videos. So um, they all three of them play Shadow, so I don't normally play Shadow that often. I mean, like I do play the class and I enjoy it a lot, but I usually don't play it just because I don't really get dailies for it. And generally, if I don't get dailies for a class, I tend not to play it. Alright, so first I'm gonna go ahead and show you the deck. This deck is actually a homebrew of mine. I tend to make quite a few of them. Um, You'll note the title says "Screw Ektar." I wanted to put something else. I wanted to put something else there entirely. However, there was a language filter, so I could not. All right. So for the deck, the first thing that you'll notice is that I have two burial grounds in this. Um, the burial grounds, one of them was actually supposed to be a spirit cycle, but I actually did not get around to fixing that before I made this video. The reason why the reason why I have that is because Shadow as a class doesn't really have good card draw like at all, and so I decided that when I made this deck, that I was going to try to supplement that by using cards that like remove cards from my deck. So that way, the less cards you have in your deck overall, the better your draws will be later in the game. So they can draw like the power cards and the cards you want. So, additionally, the reason why I chose Burial Grounds is because you use a lot of shadows in this deck. Just gonna scroll through. Yeah, like you use shadows for Ektar, you use shadows for Death's Breath, and you use shadows for Foul Tempest. Um, just the just using one of each alone tends to consume like 12 to 15 shadows minimum. That is a lot of shadows when your deck doesn't have tokens. But as I said, I was going to just switch one of them to be a spirit cycle just because something I noticed was that generally you only wanted to have one burial grounds out on the board at a time, and that the second one would just clog your board. I have Goblin Mages again for the whole. You want to pull out cards from your deck in order to maximize your draws, and just because Goblin Mage is a pretty good 3-drop. And then the other part is Mint. Right, so I have Mint in this because it's supposed to be Control Shadow. However, as I mentioned, I really don't like Ektar, and I'm pretty sure that the majority of you watching this are gonna go, man, this just looks like a pretty shitty Ektar deck or whatever. That's not the case. It's supposed to be Control Shadow. However, Ektar is one of the few cards in Shadow that actually has some combination of either Storm and or Rush, and it is a very strong control, aggro, and mid range tool. However, for the Mint specifically, I like using Mint because Mint reminds me of this card from Hearthstone called Fandral Staghelm, in that it lets you abuse your class mechanics to the fullest, and not have to pay a cost for it. With Mint in this deck, typically, well, there are actually only 3 plays that they'll be using with it. You'll either be using it on 6 with Soul Splasher in order to kill something. Soul Splasher plus Mint, if you have an Evo for the Soul Splasher, is really strong tempo because you remove their biggest dude and another dude, and then play 2 dudes yourself, and then but your 2 dudes is a 4/2 and a 3/4, and ironically, even though the 4/2 is on paper more threatening, they're going to want to remove the 3/4 first if they can. But 4 is a pretty relevant number post Evo War, just because you're gonna have to use premium removal in order to get rid of it. And because if Myth sticks on the board for more than a turn, then it kind of starts going crazy. The other play is is on 7 for Minth plus Foul Tempest. And then lastly, Minth plus Death Breath. And that's more like a turn 10 play in which you just immediately get the value from your Death Breath, and that's really nice. Oh, and then like specifically back to the Minth plus Soul Squasher thing. On 6, that's actually really important because they have to get rid of it, because if they don't, they're going to get to Ektar for yeah, you're going to get to Ektar for 3, but pay 0 shadows to do so. That is insane. The next card is Cowie. Alright, so I played 2 Cowie in here because honestly, Cowie is one of the best 7 drops in the game. Just because he's so difficult to deal with, because a lot of times, it generally means that your opponent has to trade their board and if you play it correctly enough, they'll also heal you at the same time. Shadow as a class doesn't have that much healing in it, especially not burst healing. But Cowie kind of does that for you. He's also a massive roadblock, and he's also a ward on top of that. So your opponent has to interact with him. I play one Thane just because Thane is a alright, so when you factor in all of Thane's stats, Thane is a 13-2 for 7. That is so much. Like so much value. Especially because you get 3 of his 4 bodies up front, and then the last body is a 0 mana Ward Bane, and is a 4/5. And then just one Mordecai, just because this is a control deck, and at the moment Shadow doesn't really have that many really good control tools, so I just threw Mord there for inevitability. However, if you did feel like it, you could probably swap the Mord for a Deathly Tyrant, and that would probably be okay, because for the games I did play with this deck, I actually had quite a few Shadows towards the end of the game. Alright, so now we're going to go to some games. Oops. Now, this is actually going to be a multi-part series. I'm going to be showing you 3 games total. And this first game is going to be versus D-Shift. Alright, so I'm going first. I didn't know what kind of deck he was, so I decided to just keep the Burial Grounds. Just because Burial Grounds on 1 is really nice, because if you have it on 1, then by turn 6, provided you play any 1 card, you can automatically fuel your Death Breath for 6. Death Breath for 6 is one of the best plays that you can do in Shadow, just because it transitions you into Ektar. Alright, so it's turn 3. I already have 3 shadows on. I already have 3 shadows. I'm gonna be gaining another one this turn. Alright, and so he played the Sword Cache, so that lets me know that he's D-Shift. Although I already kind of assumed he was. And I just go ahead and play out my Spartoys, and I go face. Versus D-Shift, it's important to play as aggressively as humanly possible. You don't want to make trades with them, you just need to be going face. Because you need to put them on a timer, because they're a combo deck. They don't really care about board. The only thing that they care about is their health pool not hitting 0. So as long as you can apply pressure to them, then you're in a good spot. So here I got the Soul Squasher him, and then I also go ahead and play up my second Burial Grounds. This was actually kind of greedy, in my opinion. However, I really wanted to, however, I really wanted to do so, and only just barely managed to stop myself from playing it, because you don't want to board block yourself as much with this deck, because Ektar zombies are really core to being able to control board states. Alright, so here, he plays a bunch of snowmen, but I have a bunch of zombies, so I go ahead and go face here. He's out of evos, or sorry, I lied. He has one evo left. He has one evo left, but I have um 3 different taunts, and if this and if my Spartoid lives, he's gonna take a lot of damage from Ektar. But he has second Kaleido, and that was really frustrating for me, because it means that he does get the full clear on me. But thankfully, none of his evos were used on Levi's this game, so that's good. Alright, so this turn, I just go ahead and reflood the board with Zombie Party. I wanted to hold off on the Ektar for as long as possible, so that way at least something that I buffed will be hitting face that turn. Ektar is a pretty large source of damage, and you usually want to be able to hit for at least 4 on an Ektar turn. But here he clears off several things on my board, and this turn I actually did misplay this turn. I should have just slammed Ektar, but I don't. But I don't really play like Ektar as a card that often. I usually actually play Nep Shadow, so I kind of got like a little bit greedy here, just like one for the Serb, and just figured it would be basically the same thing, because if at least one card survived, that would be fine, and I would just win. All right, so here he drops down to 0 mana. I'm just like, okay, well I've won. However, he does play a D shift, but he doesn't actually play. But he doesn't play any more creatures. This was important because that let me know that he either had multiple blade ships. Have multiple enchanted swords in his hand, or conversely, as you see, was using his D shift defensively. Alright, so he plays the second destroyer. I'm still not dead unless he has the second destroyer and his third dimension shift. He plays the second destroyer, but does not play a third dimension shift. So I'm still fine. This turn I have to Ektar in order to try to stabilize. As long as I don't die this turn, I win next turn due to Grimnir. However, due to my burial grounds, I can only clear one of his flame destroyers. I can also clear the Lou, but the Lou doesn't matter. It's only the flame destroyer because flame destroyer is 7 damage by itself. So he only needs 4 damage. His summon snow was for 21. Jesus Christ. Alright, let me go pause here. So, really quickly, it's worth noting that I used Death's Breath, a Minth, and then also an Ektar for 3. So that was 15 shadows, and I still have 13 shadows left over. The burial grounds lasted for about 10 or so turns, so it accrued quite a bit of value. And here I just go ahead and Grimnir him. And that's game. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave your thoughts down in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching.